Hello friends, welcome to a tarot/advice video. I was taking a shower and washing my hair, and so I twisted them into these little twists so that they can dry with a nice wave. So that's why my hair looks like two weird sticks. But anyway, I was in the shower and a lot of messages were coming to me, and so that doesn't sound so woo-woo, I'm going to tell you what I mean. When I read tarot, this is the deck I'm going to use. When I read tarot and when I channel, and I use air quotes because I feel like so much of the language around these more esoteric arts are very charged, and people, I don't hear a lot of conversations often about how people define the vocabulary they're using. So to avoid, turning off people who could potentially, get value out of what I want to share, or who could potentially connect to the actual wisdom and fruit in what I'm trying to offer, if language and vocabulary wasn't such a barrier, because speaking the same language and understanding the meaning of what people are saying is so important. But when I say channeling, visually, I think of information or emotions or thoughts or experiences, literally just the energy of those thoughts, right? Thoughts come out of nowhere and they just enter our minds, and all of a sudden we're aware of them. Where do they come from? What are they? Other than energy that is experienced as a thought, as an idea, I don't know what else to call a thought. But what I'm doing is I'm basically taking the things that come into my mind as thoughts and enter my heart as a truth, as a feeling, as an experience, as a piece of wisdom that is valuable to me, that's guiding me forward on my path. I take that and I offer it through story, through a spread of tarot archetypes that further help me anchor the story of my wisdom, my experience into an arc, because every single card in the tarot represents a different set of archetypes, a different combination of energies. And, it's really quite I don't know if this is even the right way of describing it, but geometric and mathematical. And on a very fundamental level, you know what I mean? There's the aspect of numerology, cards, ace through 10, and then page, knight, queen, king. Numerologically, those all have different qualities and different values, right? For example, 0 is a placeholder. 0 represents space. 0 is essentially a void. So you can fill 0 with 1, and 1 carries an energy of cohesion and unity. And then 2 is duality, reflection, reciprocity, harmony. 3, creation, amplification, expansion. 4, stability, stillness, stagnancy. 5, expansion. 6, and it goes on and on and on. So I really like to try to incorporate the more objective, call it scientific or quantifiable qualities of otherwise very esoteric things like the tarot, because culturally a lot of people just hear the word tarot, or they hear the word channeling, or they hear the word medium or whatever, and it's like an instant turnoff or an instant assumption. And so I want to be a stand for not that, and really try to convey where I'm coming from. And it's a big task, but I want to create as much space as possible so that what's in my heart and what I'm passionate about and what draws me to do these readings in the first place can be accessible to, people who can actually, receive what I have in a soft, receptive way. So I wasn't even expecting on saying any of that, but I wanted to get that out of the way. And yeah, I'm feeling so many different energies going on right now. So You know what? I'm just going to pull a starting card to see if there's any starting messages for whoever is meant to hear this. And when I was in the shower and I was channeling these messages and feeling, oh, another thing I wanted to say was with channeling, I did mention a little bit that the things that I express are coming from my heart. And I think with tarot reading, what makes me a valid reader, or like how I validate my own, like the fact that I read, like in my own mind, is by acknowledging that, like I said before, when I pull a card, I use the energy and the archetype of whatever the card is to express and put into language and put into a story what I have experienced and what I have been through in life, so to speak. And I'm really here because I'm passionate about sharing wisdom, sharing my lived experience, and using what's in my heart, using what I've learned, what I've been through as a support for anybody else who needs it. So when I read, I'm honestly just pulling from my own experience, and I'm honestly just sharing what I'm living and what is in my heart. And I'm offering that as guidance, support, encouragement, validation, whatever, for anybody who might be going through something similar as I'm going through and who needs that kind of support. I really hope that makes sense. I think I said that pretty clearly. And I say these things to like demystify, why I'm here. And I understand that even through explaining my intentions and how I understand and conceptualize a very amorphous art as tarot reading, even in doing that, I still feel afraid, self-conscious, uncomfortable, stepping more fully into that because I fear people judging me. What I fear is like these false ideas or conceptions just internalizing so much so that I am blocked from being in my divine purpose, being in my mission, fulfilling what I feel called to do, which I think that right there is probably a message that a lot of people can relate to. And if you're watching this, maybe you're one of them. And so it's about imposter syndrome. And I feel like the message is just focus on listening to your heart and listening to yourself and acting on that little whisper of your intuition above what anybody tries to impose. And even if somebody enters your life and they have all the credentials and all the conviction and all the authority, if they're your mother or your partner or your family member or your therapist or your best friend or like whatever it is, if there is this energy coming towards you of you're not doing it right, you're fundamentally wrong, you're not whatever, like if you feel like these energies are coming at you and it leaves you feeling like twisted and misunderstood and unseen inside, I think that's just a consequence or a payoff of listening to your own intuition and following your own heart and gut. And unfortunately in life, and in culture, I mean, I don't know how to say this. I think that being taught to listen to your own, just to listen, is such an important thing. And when we become disconnected from our soul and from our experience, because we're no longer listening to the quiet, still center of our own lived truth. When we're disconnected from that, it can manifest as a wealth of, I put my hands on my head because it's like a headache, like internalizing just the infiltration of outside perspectives, voices. Like, I am here to tell you that I don't care what anybody says, as long as it contradicts your intuition. And just like take that at face value, take that statement at face value. As long as it contradicts your intuition and invalidates your intuition, it's not the truth, and you don't need to take it as the truth. And when I speak these words, they fill me with, my body is literally getting hot, because the heat and the fire comes from the power center, the solar plexus. The heat creates a boundary. Imagine a ring of fire. Untruths cannot penetrate. If they try to cross your boundaries, they will get burned. And this is really powerful. It's uncomfortable because it's a lot to adjust to at times. But it is so important. That felt really good. So I think that's mainly what I hopped on here to talk about. I was feeling my own experience of having gone through internalizing and ingesting untruths that I took on, or that entered my body and created anxiety, hatred, anger, rage, stress, confusion, disempowerment, discomfort, and not a good kind of discomfort, but a conflicting kind of discomfort. I completely lost my train of thought, but yeah, it's like when energy enters your system, in my experience, and I try to be very careful about the language I use. I don't really like to speak in you statements. I like to speak in I statements, but sometimes it's convenient to just say, when you blah, 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 you blah, blah, blah. But I'm just know that I'm referring to myself, even if I slip and I say you. But in my experience, when I have absorbed an idea or a thought or something that does not originate from my soul and my heart, it literally only creates frustration and nasty feelings. And it's just disgusting. It's almost as if like a boundary has been violated. And through that emotion, through my anger, through my disgust, through whatever emotion, through my confusion, that is an emotion that is informing my body and my heart that something is out of alignment. So I listen to what that emotion is saying. Maybe anger is saying like, F this, get very far away from me. I don't want you here. I hate you. Okay, setting a boundary. Disgust can communicate the same thing. Like whatever it is that you're feeling that doesn't feel like you, like, and there's another thing, my heart is so full of also compassion for all the people who are watching and not watching this, who have ever been through any kind of experience in life where they felt unsafe or discouraged by what society says, or what their parents say, or what their partner says, or what someone with some authority or power or trust in them or towards them, like whatever happened where you have been in a place where the essence of your soul and the truth of your heart was dimmed or shut down or it's quieted or just like padded. Like even if you've been in situations where people have had, good intentions, or even when people are acting in ways that are on the outside generally perceived as loving or kind or caring, because I just got this image of like a down comforter being put on top of someone and being patted down. And on the surface, I feel like symbolically, generally, a down comforter is like representing feelings of nurturing and warmth and care and whatever. But you know what? Like, if you live in Florida right now, like I do, for example, and you're laying on the beach in the sun, you don't want someone to come and lay a down comforter on you to literally like give you a fever and melt your brain. Like, that's not appropriate unless you're trying to do that and you're like the type of person who can walk on coals and not, get burned or whatever. I don't know, to each their own, but I'm just kind of making a general statement. Like, sometimes people might see something that you say or feel or do on the surface, but they do not understand because they are not listening. So that in turn, when that's the only reflection that you're used to receiving in life through your upbringing, through your parents, through your school system, through whatever, then you might have internalized this idea that you don't need to listen to yourself. You need to listen to what everybody else is saying. And I was just having this conversation very recently. I'm taking this course on like natural birth and just a whole bunch of beautiful things. And there was a conversation about fear mongering in especially the medical institution, and how from a very early age, parents and babies and whatever are taught that you need to listen to what somebody else is telling you about your health, about your child, about your mother's intuition, etc., but not to your own experience, not to your own wilderness, not to your own feral intelligence. And that term, feral intelligence, is something that every person has in them, every soul has. And what I mean by that is intuition, nature. Like, God designed humans to be human, and you are not at fault for experiencing what you're experiencing. Even if nobody has ever been able to validate you or understand or speak back to you in a way, in words that reciprocate your energy, your truth, but do not gaslight yourself. It is so important, especially in this day and age, to be able to honor yourself and honor the energy that wants to be expressed through you, even if people shun you and don't get you. I mean, one example of this kind of leadership, really, that I think of, that always comes to mind, that inspires me, is Galileo. Galileo observed the cosmos and was killed for his observations and wisdom. And I don't know too many more details of the story, but basically, and then with witches, herbalists, people who listened to the earth and were intuitive and acted on that wisdom and made medicine and healed cancer and all these things throughout history. There have been a group of people on the earth that are trapped in the workings of their egos, or some people say the devil. And I feel like the devil and the ego are in the tarot, we have a devil card and it represents attachment and the ego and whatnot. But for, I don't even know how long, but for a very long time, we have had on this earth groups of people who operate from fear. And we even have people like this in our own government making decisions on behalf of hundreds of thousands or maybe millions of people. I don't know how this works. It's so complicated and frustrating. But anyway, there are always going to be people who are afraid and who will threaten you and who will come into contact and see your brightness, see your spirit, see your truth, see your soul, see your wisdom, see your choices, your way of wanting to be. And they will resist it, and they will try to tear you down, and they will not believe in you, and they will not stop as long as they are choosing to operate from fear, from their egos. And that doesn't mean that there is no hope to, be like a modern day witch, for example, or be just someone in this day and age who is leading their life in an intuitive way that, you know, your society or community doesn't necessarily immediately approve of or validate or see or understand because they're living within this specific framework. And there are so many like ideas and principles and beliefs that are personal to me and are personal to whoever has them, that if I were to say them out loud, if I were to say a certain opinion out loud or a certain belief out loud, I would just be canceled. You know what I mean? And I mean, for example, like, this feels really edgy, but I'm just trying to be transparent, like being a Jew, and that alone is enough to make some people just go crazy. Okay, like, there's still racism on this planet, there's still discrimination, there's still all this stuff that's based in fear and that's not based in listening. And fear is a mechanism that is put in place to assist somebody in surviving. So I think my question is, like, how do we support, how do we as individuals move towards a world, a heaven on earth, where there is abundance and security, so this fear can melt away and people can trust and people aren't afraid to get hurt and to die, because that is life. That is life. We cannot protect ourselves from pain. Suffering and pain, I mean, they kind of go hand in hand, but they're separate. Pain is pain. Suffering is resistance to pain. Which, you know what, that's appropriate too sometimes, because sometimes to survive you need to resist pain, and you need to have that kind of thing turned on in your brain. You need to resist pain in order to, I don't know, for some people, pay your bills, or be I don't know. Kind of getting off into a tangent there, but that was just a lot, and felt really good to say. And yeah, my mind is kind of blank right now, so I know I didn't pull any tarot cards yet, but all that felt really strong. And I think another thing I just want to say is that all these things that I'm expressing are things that I feel like the God connection in me wants me to live and to embody, because I have recently been through some experiences where I have felt so vulnerable beyond the most vulnerable times I've ever lived. And then I have had certain ideas or fears projected onto me while in that vulnerable state. And that created somewhat of a mindfuck. And the strength and the resolve that is necessary in order to recover a sense of spirit and identity and self and energy is it's tremendous when you're coming up against, or I should say, it felt tremendous for me when I came up against fear projections coming from specific people that I trusted very, 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 very deeply. And that's not an easy thing to recover from. But the power in that kind of experience is directly feeding into my power, my strength, my capacity to honor my intuition above fear, above what people that I trust so deeply project and impose. I hope that makes sense. I trust that this is going to reach the right people who need to hear it, people who lead life through their intuition, people who Choose courage over being cowardly every day, every moment. Okay, take a moment to recover from the trauma of, being open in your heart and then being projected onto and being not seen. Like, that sucks. It's so isolating. But I swear to God, it is so important and necessary to honor what God put in you, your truth, the thing that keeps coming up over and over again, over and over again. You can't deny yourself. You can't continue to deny yourself. And there's gonna come a point where either your own inability to empower your own truth supersedes your happiness. I don't even know if that's the right word, but envelops and swallows and blocks your capacity to be vital and to be happy and to be fulfilled by a sense of purpose. So it's so important that you have the courage and make the choices to be courageous and to speak from your heart and be who you are. And I am with you in that. I know I'm just a random person probably to some people watching this, but the compassion I have for this type of situation and emotion is tremendous. And I feel like I have really nobody in my life at this exact moment that I can connect with on this kind of level, and that I can express these things and feel validated and feel understood and feel seen at the fullest extent. So for now, I'm committing to this on my own and trying to put it out into the world through YouTube, through video. And so you'll know this is for you because you'll know that you identify with these qualities, that you are not a coward, but you are courageous and you choose to be brave over and over and over, no matter what you lose, no matter what changes in your life. Like, you are the type of person who does not give up for the life of you on your visions, on your dreams. You are a person who will, bare your teeth in the face of the devil, in the face of the things that you're afraid of. You will step into the fire, through the fire of your fear, and maybe literally walk across hot coals. I don't know, maybe someone does that. I've met a couple of people that have done that. I've never done it. But yeah, you'll know this is for you because you feel that resolve is true to you and you are ready to embrace it. You are ready to speak your truth. You are ready to risk being seen and being not seen and being understood and being misunderstood. Because in order to have that connection, you need to open yourself. You need to bare yourself to the universe. You need to show it. You need to literally shine your light like a lighthouse, like a beacon, so people can see that light from a distance and they will come to it. You need to empower and stoke the fire of your own soul flames so that people can feel the heat and gravitate towards it. Because what do people do? They hang out around fires. We've been doing it forever. Fire is a source of light, nourishment, connection, community. Gathering around a fire is one of the most primordial, healing, just natural, perfect things ever. So be like a fire and feed yourself, feed your light, and do not let people who are afraid of your heat and afraid of your brightness try to taint your the purity of that. Okay, if it doesn't come across perfectly for some people, but the right people will feel you and understand you, and there's always room to tweak the way that's communicated and the way that comes across. But as long as you're willing to honor that, as long as people are willing to understand that, I think that's a good sign. So I'm going to take a sip of this and jump into a tarot reading. Okay. So let's just pull some overcapping advice for anybody who needs it. You might also feel, because I feel this way sometimes, and it just came up, but you might feel like your patience for like certain people or certain behaviors or certain patterns or habits is wearing very thin, and that's okay. And I think that's a sign that it's, you're being encouraged, or it's appropriate to move forward and make decisions that are in alignment with you. And I know it doesn't feel good to feel angry all the time or to feel fed up all the time, but it is an essential part of growing and moving forward. And I feel like the more that you act in service to God or the truth, like whatever it is that you serve, the more that you stay in line with that. And again, I'm saying you, but this is about me. These are my beliefs and these are my experiences. And I've noticed the more that I stay in line with that, the more soft my heart gets, and the more I'm able to integrate the people, the societies, the communities, the ideas that once made me feel so isolated and invalidated. Like the more that I honor myself and God, really, like the more room I eventually have to integrate those things that once hurt me into a place of compassion and love. So if you're in this situation as well, and you're like, I'm sick of being invalidated, but I'm also sick of like feeling angry or feeling these aversion feelings, like, just my advice is to stick to your guns, keep being of service, and eventually things will soften. The more that you soften, in my experience, the more that I've softened into, my truth and the mode of expression that is, a priority for me, the more that I have been able to take a step back and view these people or situations that have hurt me and feel neutral to like no charge, and just feeling love and compassion and acceptance for those things. So that will come, but first sometimes there must be discomfort in the beginning. So I didn't even need a tarot card to say that, but yeah, justice. There we go. The scales are tipping. They are tipping into equilibrium again. And the Empress. I think there's a rebalancing of maybe your feminine intuitive traits and qualities. And I feel like the Empress card and the Justice card is also like a reclamation of maybe some of your mothers or expectant mothers, like a reclamation of that maternal protective like instinct in you. The Three of Pentacles wanted to come out, but it didn't. So I feel like on the horizon there's like beautiful, like inspiring collaborations, because the Three of Pentacles did peek out. It's like, I'm here, but I'm not fully here yet, but this is what's here right now. So the Two of Cups, harmony and cohesion, and this could represent romance, but it generally represents harmony and emotional reciprocity, and could resemble like a soul connection. So this speaks to, you will find your people. You will absolutely find your people, and you will make magic with them with the Three of Pentacles. Stay on your path. Don't lose sight. Don't lose sight of your dreams and visions. The Six of Swords, like you're moving past the past and you're moving forward. You're moving on. You're ready to retire what is meant to be retired right now. The Seven of Wands, and you're not giving up. You're brave. You're brave. I think you're my people. If you're watching this, if you resonate, I think you're my people. Conviction, courage, strength, energy, stamina. Six of Cups, peace, and exactly what I was saying before, like the things, people, places, ideas, whatever, beliefs, habits, environments, like the things that once hurt you or created an imbalance in you or caused, some injustice in you or robbed you of some aspect of yourself or your soul, like this will all come full circle, and you'll be able to look back in retrospection and feel a sense of harmony and peace and sweetness and nostalgia, because this is a card about reflecting and nostalgia and like the sweet, warm, comforting, almost uninhibited childlike energy of retrospecting. And so you will come to a point where you're able to look back and feel that peace and beautiful harmony. Just pull a couple more. The Queen of Wands. Yep. You're bright, you're confident. This is who you are. This is who you are. And nobody can take this away from you. Nobody can take this away from you. And you will not let anybody take your light and your fire away from you. It is yours. It belongs to you. And when you need to be ignited and hot and like fiery, you have that. It's never going to go anywhere. King of Wands. This is awesome. Queen of Wands, and then the King of Wands immediately to follow. For some people, this is like you're ready for your freaking counterpart. You know who you are, and you are known. You know who you are, and you are known. Because you know who you are available to be known. And whether it's a counterpart connection or total inner cohesion, acceptance, confidence, whatever, that's present. So that's incredible. Stick to your path, stick to your path, stick to your path, stick to your path. And trust that in the areas of life where you have for so long been the only one to stand in your power and to be there for yourself when nobody else was able to, continue to be that force for yourself. And when it is reflected back to you by somebody else, it's true. It's true. And you don't need to doubt it. There have been so many times in your life in the past where you thought that you were loved or supported in certain ways. But then when it came to the point where you were inspired to be vulnerable and embody and show and reveal this aspect of yourself, and it was not met with the support or encouragement that brought you deeper into your power and yourself and your sovereignty, your authority, but it revealed some part of you that still internalizes doubt or fear or whatever. That's not the same. But that's kind of a loaded energy right there. Like, there have been, I'll just share this as a story, but there have been times in my life where I've been through exactly that, where I've given my vulnerability to people who did not know how to really serve me, to no fault of their own character necessarily. It just happens in life, we like meet people and we get close, and then we think we can get vulnerable, or we get vulnerable, and then we see, okay, this is what's really here. This is what's available. And, it's not really enough for what I need. But I feel like through this process of discovering this enoughness within your own self, the more that you can just vibrate on a place. This is my belief. And I believe that the more that I can sustain a vibration of being accepting of myself and understanding and validating of myself, and the more I can have integrity with myself, the more I will be available to be treated the ways that I, want to be treated by other people. And it is a scary thing. It is a vulnerable thing sometimes to open up and, not necessarily even trust someone, but like risk being seen, basically. Because when we are our authentic selves, we risk being seen. And it is not up to us whether or not people see us, whether it's someone that we're really hopeful things will work out with, a friend, a partner, a parent, a teacher, whatever, a guide, a mentor, a therapist. Whether, like, it is not up to us how we are perceived. It is only our responsibility to shine our light in the world. And I think what I want to say is just this energy with the king and the queen right next to each other was a little bit confrontational, because, ironically, it is confrontational because these are both archetypes that stand in their power. So imbalanced, this could be like very hard-headed kind of personalities, or, personality conflict or whatever. But in harmony, it's like we are fighting for ourselves because we value ourselves, and we identify with a core set of values that match up. So when we fight for ourselves, we are fighting for each other, and we are invincible, like, in that space. So I think there's a message here of just encouraging, and I'm getting this heat again. It's like I feel like I'm releasing so much energy right now. Continue to fight for your values, and it doesn't even necessarily have to be a fight. Just have integrity. Choose integrity with your values, and the rest will okay, got a notification. The rest will fall into place. And fear, if you feel any fear with stepping into this part of yourself, just be present, be here right now. You're here right now. I don't know who's watching or where you're watching this, but I wanted to say, like, there's nobody sitting in front of you right now. Like, you're probably, if you're here at this point in this video right now, I'm going to guess that you're by yourself, but and I'm going to guess that you're not in any kind of threatening situation. But I would assume that, there are points in your life where hopefully you can tell yourself, like, there is no threat right here, right now. I am here right now. I am here. I am here sitting on my chair in my room by myself, whatever. And it is safe, and nobody is trying to fight with me, and there's no reason to be afraid. So it's just allow the fear, allow the thoughts, allow the emotion of the past trauma of times that you weren't safe to be yourself. Allow that to just release. And it's certainly coming out in heat, because I'm just like so warm. Yeah, and it's like the moon. Yeah, so throughout this process, there's going to be some obscurations, some lack of clarity, but just allow it to be. Allow the darkness of the night to absorb the light of the moon. I don't even know what I'm trying to say by that. Like, allow the space of your subconscious, of the unknown, of the mystery of life to hold your insecurities, your fears, your shifting emotions. Allow them. They're okay, and you don't need to identify with them. And if you have people in your life who are able to witness you and support you and, see you without creating even more entanglements, but people who make you feel validated and safe and seen, whatever, maybe maybe share your inner world with them to feel anchored again. I know I always used to get that sense from women's circles that I would go to. Haven't been to one in so long, but that will come up and it's okay. King of Cups. Emotional integrity. Everything's coming into balance. Everything is coming into balance. And your relationship with your own emotions and your heart is just growing to like perfection, I want to say. It's becoming better and better. Page of Cups, like, this is, the words that come to mind for this are gentle integrity. This is like a very gentle, wistful, expressive, creative energy. This is also somewhat bravery, like vulnerability. This is, as a person, this is a poet, an artist, a singer, a romantic, heart on the sleeve. So more expression like that is coming. Oh my God, another Page of Pentacles. So conviction, integrity again, willingness to go towards your goals. Like, there's a readiness and like a youthful curiosity, ready to explore the world. Four of Pentacles, and it just slid right out. So it's like a new foundation through all of this work is being created. Stability. There's a sense of calm that I feel. And my final advice is to take the wisdom in this video that resonated with you and apply this arc to your life, because you will have moments, most likely, where you cycle through this energy as much as you need to in order to actualize the wisdom and the lessons in the arc of what's happening, if that makes sense. You do not be discouraged when you find yourself facing fear and doubt again, because it will always come. But you made it this far. You've proven enough to yourself and to the world, to God, the universe, by showing up, by being brave, by being courageous, that you are on the right track, you are on the right path, you are committed, you do have integrity, but you have to be honest with yourself about that. And if you know that you do, then you do. And there's going to be moments until, you've mastered the way of being and it no longer phases you or creates any fear or stress or doubt or whatever. Like, there's going to be moments where it comes back up, it creeps back up, and your body remembers the trauma of that negativity kind of winning. And this is a huge opportunity for it to be released right now. And I've been hearing so many people talk about death and allowing what needs to die in your life to just die. Like, certain behaviors, beliefs, relationships, environments, actions, certain things just no longer align, and it could very well be time to just let them go. And be patient with yourself, be easy with yourself. You're doing incredible. And it's not easy to change and to let things die and let things go. And so know and carry this with you, that even in moments where you feel fear or doubt or whatever, those are just like phantoms of the past, coming up. It's just energy. It's just a habit that your neurology created to give you this negative emotion, to give you these thoughts, trigger these thoughts to help you survive, because that's how you used to survive when you needed to, hide and shut down in order to be safe, when you weren't allowed to express your intuition. Because sometimes in life and in culture, like, if you were in a place where you were being intuitive and being aligned with God, aligned with the truth, whatever, like, your life could have been threatened. And it happened again with Galileo and with the burning of the witches and with so many other, things in society. Like, it's a risk, but you know what? And fear is real, and it's okay to take time to sit with the fear and just be gentle. Allow the emotions to be felt, to be processed. And yeah, there's a lot of work still to be done, I feel, and I feel like there's so much more that I could say, but I'm gonna leave that here. It's a lot of energy. So if you want a personal reading from me, reach out to me, send me a message here or on Instagram at Rustic Peach. I have some comedic reels up there, photos, personal life stuff. Also check me out on Patreon, Aaliyah Tamar Art and Tarot. I have monthly in-depth general deep dive readings, and they range from like 40 to 80 minutes usually. And I also have a couple slots left for personal monthly readings if you'd like to subscribe to a monthly reading. So with that, take care. I really hope this served you in some way.